Tonight on RCVTV, we're going to be talking about
temp control. Alright, so really what is temp control?
Temp control is basically going to be limiting the max temperature your coil can achieve.
The way I like to explain it, I think of temp control as the top speed of your car. So you can set the temperature at which your coil's gonna heat up to. So think of that as the maximum speed of your car, and your acceleration would be the wattage you use. So say you're on a 60 watt device, for example. If you set that to 60 watts, that's the same as putting your foot right to the floor. You're going to hit that temperature real fast. Now if you have it set to say 30 watts, that would be like your gas pedal halfway to the floor. It's not going to hit that temperature really as fast as if you were going at 60 watts. So you're going to get a little bit longer of a vape before it hits that temperature. So really, why would someone want to use temp control? The short answer is basically to prevent dry hits.
The longer answer is a couple of reasons. Coil longevity is going to be most people's number one to that, because you're never going to accidentally dry your coil to it being to the point of burning. Your coil life is going to be substantially better. The second thing is going to be the amount you can actually dial it in. It's another personal level to your vape. You're allowed to really set it the exact way you're going to want to be using it, as well as you get a little bit more consistency if you're going to be setting it up correctly. So the types of wires that you can use with a temperature controlled device.
Three of the more common ones is nickel,
which is commonly known as Ni or Ni200.
And there's titanium,
commonly known as Ti,
and stainless steel,
commonly known as SS.
So now I know you're all asking yourselves, what mods do temp control?
Well, there's a lot of different mods out there that can do temp control. A lot of the more common and popular ones, like the ones we have in front of us, those would be as follows: the iStick 40 Watt TC by Aspire,
the EVIC VTC Mini by Joytech,
the IPV5 by Pioneer for You,
the Fuchai 200 Watt by Sigeli,
the RX 200 Reload by Wismec,
and the DNA 200 Vapor Shark by Vapor Shark.
Now, each one of these mods does do temp control, and they all perform fairly equally, although their menu systems and their operations differ from device to device, so you'd probably want to refer to your manual for specific operations, or even your local vape shop. So as well as having a device that actually uses temp control modes, you'd also be wanting to use a tank and or coils that allow you to use those modes specifically.
Now, the majority of the tanks on the market already have a temperature control coil option. For example, the Milo 2 comes with a nickel coil and a titanium coil in the box.
The Crown tank comes with 2 stainless steel coils as well as a nickel coil in the box.
And even as an example, the Nautilus Mini tank, although it came out long before temperature control was even a thing, you can now buy nickel coils for it. So for coil longevity, what would be the optimal temperature setting that you'd want to set your device to?
So although there's lots of different kinds of cotton out there, the ballpark is roughly in the neighborhood about 380 degrees Fahrenheit to about 420 degrees Fahrenheit. And then for Celsius, you're looking at about 200 degrees Celsius to about 215. And that's the scorching / burning point of cotton. Obviously, if you have juice on the actual cotton itself or your coil, the temperature is obviously not going to have as big as an impact. But when we're talking dry, that's the burning point. As well as the really common modes, nickel, titanium, and stainless steel that you'll find in your temp control devices. A lot of temp control devices has a mode called TCR.
Now, TCR stands for temperature coefficient of resistance. What that basically means is how much resistance is in a certain length of wire.
Now, for your nickel, your titanium, and your stainless steel presets on your temp control devices, they already have a TCR value set to them that you are not able to adjust.
The TCR mode would basically be for someone who's building their own coils and using a weird combination of wires, so you can set your own TCR values.
As well as using coils that might not already be a preset inside your mod. While going through the manual of your device, you might find something that says lock resistance.
Why you want to do that when you're using nickel titanium or stainless steel, as the temperature of the coil goes up, the resistance goes up. When the temperature of the coil goes down, the resistance changes and goes down as well.
So if you set the baseline at your room temperature, it's basically going to allow you to have the most optimal vape time between your starting temperature and the max temperature that you actually set it at. Alright, so that's the factual information about temperature control. We're going to take a closer look at the actual temp control mod in action. Alright, so we do have our up-close look at a temperature control mod here. We have the iStick 40-watt TC, and on top we actually have a velocity dripper mounted on top, but we have a nickel coil with some dry cotton sitting in it. So the coil popped out at a 0.4 ohms of resistance. We locked it in. We have it set at 380 degrees Fahrenheit, just at that burning point of cotton. So if I hold the button down, you can actually see that nothing actually happens when I click the button. Nothing at all. If you actually watch the screen itself, you can see that it climbs, hits temp protect, climbs, temp protect. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn the temperature up just a little bit, show you guys here. So I have it sitting at 450 degrees now. So when I fire it, you can see that it's starting to scorch a little bit. It's starting to get darker and darker. Let's turn that up a little bit more. So we got it set 510 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to hold that button again. You can see scorches a little bit more. Now, the next thing we're going to show you is what happens when you actually put juice on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of juice on here. And you can see when I actually heat it up now, it does produce that little bit of vapor. Now obviously as you're actually taking a haul on it, it's actually going to cool it down. So as you take a haul, you'll actually get a more of a longer consistent hit rather than that quick little pulse that you see.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is our temperature control video. Thanks so much for watching.
And as always,
subscribe to the channel, like the videos.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
like us on Facebook, and until next time,
Make smart choices.